Why did the captain do this? Air Liberté Flight 930. The sun shone brightly over Orly Airport in Paris, casting a golden hue across the bustling tarmac. It was the kind of day that made everyone dream of adventure, and for Captain Julien Moreau, it was another day to command Air Liberté Flight 930, a routine journey to Casablanca. A seasoned pilot with over 20 years of experience, Captain Moreau was known for his calm demeanor, quick decision-making, and unwavering dedication to safety. However, this particular flight was destined to test his character in ways he could never have imagined. As passengers filed onto the Airbus A320, the usual mix of emotions filled the cabin: excitement, impatience, and quiet anticipation. Among them was an elderly woman named Madame Dupont, traveling to visit her grandchildren, and a young man named Rami, who was nervous about his first-ever flight. There were also families, business travelers, and even a group of schoolchildren on a cultural exchange trip. Captain Moreau greeted his co-pilot, First Officer Claire Dubois, in the cockpit. Claire, though younger, was a highly capable and confident aviator. The two had worked together before and shared a mutual respect. "All systems look good," Claire said, running through the pre-flight checklist. "Perfect. Let's make it a smooth ride," Julien replied with a reassuring smile. The takeoff was seamless, and the aircraft climbed steadily into the clear blue sky. Passengers relaxed, some gazing out the windows while others flipped through magazines or dozed off. An hour into the flight, as they cruised at 35,000 feet, the tranquility was shattered. A loud, piercing alarm blared in the cockpit. Warning lights illuminated the control panel like a Christmas tree. "Hydraulic failure," Claire said, her voice taut with urgency. Julien's face remained calm, though his mind raced. The hydraulic system controlled many critical functions of the aircraft, including the landing gear and flight controls. Without it, the situation could escalate into a catastrophe. "We've trained for this," Julien said firmly. "Let's follow procedure." As the pilots worked together to stabilize the plane, Julien made an announcement to the passengers. His voice was steady, exuding confidence. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We've encountered a technical issue, but I assure you, we're taking all necessary measures to ensure your safety. Please remain seated and follow the crew's instructions." The cabin grew quiet, the earlier chatter replaced by anxious whispers. The nearest airport equipped to handle an emergency landing was Bordeaux, over 200 miles away. Time was critical, and every second counted. Julien weighed his options. He could try to divert to Bordeaux, but with the hydraulic system compromised, the risk of losing complete control increased the longer they stayed in the air. "Captain," Claire said, "there's a smaller airfield closer to our current position. It's not equipped for commercial jets, but it's an option." Julien's eyes met hers. He knew the challenges of attempting to land a large aircraft on a short runway, especially with reduced control. But he also knew that waiting too long could be disastrous. "Let's do it," he said, his voice resolute. As the plane approached the airfield, Julien took manual control. Without full hydraulic power, the controls were stiff, requiring immense physical effort. Sweat beaded on his forehead as he maneuvered the aircraft, his hands gripping the yoke tightly. In the cabin, the passengers were instructed to brace for impact. Flight attendants moved quickly, their professionalism masking their own fear. "Stay calm," one attendant whispered to a crying child, her voice soothing. The runway came into view, a narrow strip surrounded by open fields. Julien's hands shook from the strain, but his focus was unyielding. The plane descended, its wheels touching the ground with a bone-jarring thud. The brakes, relying on the compromised hydraulic system, struggled to engage fully. Julien and Claire worked together to slow the aircraft, finally bringing it to a stop mere feet from the runway's end. Cheers and applause erupted from the cabin as passengers realized they were safe. Tears streamed down Madame Dupont's face as she clutched her rosary. Rami, the nervous first-time flyer, let out a shaky laugh of relief. In the cockpit, Julien leaned back in his seat, his body heavy with exhaustion. Claire turned to him, her expression a mix of admiration and disbelief. "You did it," she said simply. No, Julian replied, shaking his head. We did it. It was a team effort. After ensuring all passengers and crew were safely evacuated, Julian stood on the tarmac, watching as emergency vehicles surrounded the aircraft. Reporters and aviation experts would later hail his actions as heroic, but Julian dismissed such accolades. During the investigation that followed, it was revealed that a maintenance oversight had caused the hydraulic failure. The airline implemented stricter protocols to prevent similar incidents, and Julian became an advocate for rigorous safety standards. In the weeks that followed, Julian received countless letters of gratitude from passengers. One letter in particular stood out. It was from Rami, the young man who had been terrified of flying. You taught me something important that day, Rami wrote. Courage isn't about not feeling fear. It's about doing what's right despite it. I'll never forget what you did for all of us. Julian folded the letter carefully, placing it in his jacket pocket. For him, the flight wasn't just about averting disaster. It was about demonstrating the power of responsibility, teamwork, and unwavering dedication to others. The story of Air Liberté Flight 930 became a symbol of resilience and integrity, a reminder that even in the face of life's greatest challenges, the choices we make can inspire and uplift those around us.